Manuel grinned. It's more like physical therapy. Javier glared daggers at Manuel, while Victor knitted his brow, still confused. Then, suddenly, he got it. Oh, wait, did he say Amelia and his boss? Victor thought back to the time he caught Amelia straddling Javier in the back of. This was unlike his careful and controlled boss, who was never messy with women. Miss Rivera had a special effect on him indeed. But considering that Victor was in the midst of organizing a dinner banquet in honor of the prince's future fiancée, he started to feel a headache coming on. The doctor snapped his medical kit shut. Well, my work here is done. Thank you, Manuel, Javier said. I appreciate your friendship. Manuel smiled as he walked to the door. You can always count on me, Your Highness, he said playfully, turning around and giving a mock salute before shutting the door behind him. Your Highness, are you attending the general meeting at 5? Victor inquired. Javier buttoned up his shirt and grabbed his briefcase. No. Tell the driver I plan to head home. Javier used to be the first to arrive at the office and the last to leave. Victor couldn't help but notice that he recently began to prioritize spending more time at home. His boss seemed to be changing in more ways than one since Max and Amelia came into his life. When Javier returned home that evening, the butler greeted him. Have you eaten, Your Highness? Not yet, Javier sighed, clearly worn out. He had ignored Dr. Marquez's orders to pace himself and was feeling the consequences. What's on the chef's menu for dinner? Mr. Grant stepped forward. Tonight, we have roast lamb served with truffle risotto, or, if you'd prefer fish, the sea bass just arrived from Spain and can be baked to perfection. Javier's mind drifted, his disinterest evident until he caught sight of Amelia descending the staircase with a small basket of laundry. Despite the staff's frequent offers to take care of it, she still insisted on doing her and Max's laundry. She didn't want to become too accustomed to a life of luxury, knowing she'd have to move out one day. Without taking his eyes off her, Javier grinned and told Mr. Grant, I like empanadas. The butler was surprised, but nodded. I'll have the chef start them right away. Javier shook his head. Not necessary. I meant Amelia's empanadas. He said it loudly enough for her to hear, and she froze mid-step. Javier and Mr. Grant both stared up at her expectantly. Amelia's last interaction with Javier had been tense. He tried to tell her who to date. Now he was asking her to cook for him? She raised a brow. Was that a request or an order? Javier tilted his head with a faint smile. Neither. Just a craving. Amelia narrowed her eyes as she walked down the steps to meet him. Then, pointedly, deposited her laundry basket into his arms. He looked down at the dirty clothes he was now carrying, confused. What's this? Negotiating. Nothing in life is free, Your Highness. Let's trade. I'll cook 1 plate of empanadas if you wash 1 load of your son's laundry. Or is a single chore too daunting for you? Javier flashed her a smug grin. I was a trained Spanish soldier. I can make a bed, wash clothes, and mop a floor till it shines. You have yourself a deal. Amelia stared back at Javier with a challenging gaze. Good. But you can't pawn the laundry off on the maids. Please. I'm a man of honor, Miss Rivera. Javier's lips curled as he walked off, laundry basket in hand. Later that night, Javier retired to his study after washing and folding his end of the deal. He sat hunched over some documents when Amelia entered with a tray of golden brown empanadas. As the fresh aroma filled the air, Amelia noticed the slight slump in Javier's shoulders and how the tension in his brow softened ever so slightly at the scent. Amelia smiled. Smells good, huh? Javier grunted in response, playing it cool. But the audible growl of his stomach betrayed him. She chuckled at the sound. I saw all the folded piles of clothes on Max's dresser. Not bad, Your Highness. She placed the tray in front of him. I promise I didn't spit any of these out this time. Bon appetit. A smile softened his face. Thank you. Did you take some for yourself and Max? Amelia nodded and stood by, amused, waiting to watch the first bite. Javier picked up an empanada, the flaky crust crumbling slightly under his touch. He bit into it and let out a satisfied moan. On that note, Amelia smiled to herself, then turned to leave. Amelia, he finally called out. She paused, her hand lingering near the doorframe. What is it? About last night, he continued. Am I finally getting an apology? She wondered. You never told me what you wanted to thank me for, he said. Her shoulders sagged slightly in disappointment. Oh, I forgot. Actually, it probably wasn't that important. But I do have some good news. I got reinstated at my job. Javier leaned back in his chair, his tone neutral. That's fantastic. How did that happen? It seems I have a guardian angel looking out for me. I think I'll thank him with a delicious home-cooked dinner. Javier raised an eyebrow, positive she was referring to himself. I'm sure your angel will love it. He took another bite of the empanada, savoring the moment. The next morning, Amelia and Thomas had plans to meet for breakfast at the Gables Golf Club. So she woke up extra early and went to the kitchen to prep the dinner she intended to make for him later. When Javier entered the dining room, he found Max already seated and enjoying his breakfast alone. Javier bent down and kissed Max on the head before taking his seat at the head of the table. Where's Amelia? He asked. In the kitchen, replied Max. She woke up early to prepare a thank you dinner she's making for someone later. It smells so good, Dad, you don't even know. Javier smiled. I think I'll know soon enough. He winked at Max, who giggled. Just then, Amelia rushed in, looking slightly frazzled but effortlessly cute in a white polo and golf skirt. I have to run. If I'm any later, my breakfast date will turn into brunch. Max waved her off. You look very pretty, Mom. I wish. I'm a mess. She kissed Max on the forehead. Be good. Without even saying goodbye to Javier, she grabbed her things and left in a hurry. Max turned to Javier. Dad, do you still call it a blind date if you already saw the person on the first date? Javier didn't respond, as he recalled overhearing Amelia on the phone the other night, agreeing to meet the divorced teacher at a golf club. Javier typed something on his phone. Seconds later, Victor appeared. You wanted to go over your schedule today? The assistant asked. You have a racquetball game with Japan's General Consul, Mr. Nakoma, at 11. Javier shook his head. Racquetball will be too strenuous for my injuries. He paused, considering. Instead, ask if his team will meet me for a round of golf at the Gables Golf Club.
Wait, that's not the end. You've just had a free taste. Now get the full story on the Pocket FM app, link in description. Check out our next video and playlist, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.